Are you one of the handful of gamers that wants to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds but are not actually already playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? Well, good news for you. Epic Games has created their own version within their early access title, Fortnite. Fortnite Battle Royale has just been released for free on PC, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Now, if you've somehow managed to avoid the Battle Royale phenomenon and haven't seen the Hunger Games, Fortnite's iteration is pretty standard for the genre. Up to 100 players are piled into a flying party bus from which they can jump at any time onto the island below. On the way down, a glider can be deployed, giving you some ability to control your descent, and of course to avoid smearing yourself across the landscape. Once on the ground, it is a mad dash to try and find a gun, some ammunition, and start hunting down the other players. The active play area shrinks over time to keep the game from stagnating, and the last person alive wins. Maybe you'll live a long time, but ultimately you will get shot in the face. Maybe you'll get shot or beaten to death moments after landing. You are going to die. You are going to die a lot. Most of the time, you'll get to the ground unscathed and have a chance to pick up some supplies and start considering your longer-term survival. It is important early on to try and avoid open spaces as you only start with a pickaxe. It's useful for harvesting resources, but not so good for fighting. You will want guns, lots of guns, and preferably the higher quality ones. As in the standard game, weapons have different levels of rarity, with the more rare ones doing more damage, firing faster or more accurately. You can't afford to be fussy in the early stages of Battle Royale, but later on you may need to decide between a gun you have plenty of ammunition for, or one that'll do more damage. And if you do manage to kill someone, they will drop everything they were holding, which is a great, but risky way of improving your arsenal over time. The standard game's fort building and trap placement is still available in Battle Royale to add a little more spice to the mode. You don't get to bring your gear over from the standard game, of course, but if you can find or harvest the materials in the world, you can try building a fort and placing some traps, although you might not have much success doing it solo. An alternative, build traps inside one of the structures on the map from the start, and cross your fingers that you can lure unsuspecting victims to their doom. Otherwise, you could try forming a squad and launching into battle as a collective. Groups of up to 4 people in pre-organised or pick-up squads can fight together, and it's here that we suspect some actual fort building might occur as people try and funnel opponents into easy shooting lines. Or else you could just outlast other groups by cowering in a heavily trapped bunker. You know, whatever works. As of the initial release, the character you play is selected randomly from a few options. Epic has promised that later updates to the game will include choosing your own soldier and cosmetic items unlocked either via in-game achievements or cold hard cash. The standard version of Fortnite has more than a dozen hero styles already, so expect those to make an appearance sometime soon. Fortnite also has a much brighter cartoony look than its primary competitors, so if the grimdark look isn't your thing, you've at least got an option now. Unlike Fortnite's PvE missions, Battle Royale is currently the same map every time. Epic is promising new maps in the future, although current darling of the scene PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds itself only has one available. The Battle Royale island is pretty big, and the lineup of players are so variable between matches, the single map on offer isn't the drawback you'd think it would be for other FPS titles. When you add the ability to build structures and traps or knock down existent structures already, it's hard to imagine the one map becoming stale anytime soon. Even though Fortnite Battle Royale is technically still early in development, it does have a big advantage in being built on top of an existing game that already functions pretty well. This leaves Epic a bit more room to work on the actual gameplay, rather than having to worry too much about the underlying engine. As a result, Battle Royale already plays quite well and we're sure will only improve over time. Plus, it's free! Hard to argue with that. And that's about it for this edition of Player Attack. Thanks for watching. Next week, Angelo sits down with Adelaide developer Carmen Fantarella to discuss Icebox, Speed Gunner, and the local dev scene, while we jump right back into our pile of shame to bring you a few new reviews. In the meantime, you can catch us at playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Also, if you want to support Player Attack, you can find us on Patreon and help us bring you the latest in gaming news, plus all these wonderful interviews and reviews from the world of video games. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.